Alright, so we got late notice replacement William Knight versus Jung. Alright, so Jung is definitely a much bigger guy. He's got a 6-inch height advantage and a 5.5-inch reach advantage. William Knight started MMA only 3 years ago, so he's pretty green. Definitely a lot of room for improvement, but he is getting up there in age. Alright, so striking tendencies for these guys. Alright, so for William Knight, I don't think he's much of a stand-up threat at all. I think, in my opinion, he's super uncomfortable on the feet. Best evidence of that is in the Tafon and Chukwi fight. But he is explosive, and he does keep that explosiveness for 3 rounds, which is very impressive. But yeah, he seems a little uncomfortable on the feet, in my opinion. For Jung, he comes in with that constant forward pressure. He's pretty predictable with his movement. He's pretty much just looking to land that straight right. Makes him a little one-dimensional on the feet, a little predictable. So yeah. And, what these guys like to throw, Jung, obviously the straight right, and the counter 2. But he also likes to mix it up with the jab, versing a stationary opponent, which is pretty much what he has here. William Knight is very stationary. He will, look for the clinch because opponents will close distance on him. He looks to clinch often. When he's in the clinch, talk about William Knight here, he will use that dirty boxing uppercuts in the clinch, or he'll look for takedowns from the clinch. But at distance, pretty much he's just throwing those low leg kicks, and Jung doesn't check leg kicks at all. Like, he doesn't even register them or even address them. So yeah, could get him in trouble here. Also, Jung, when he does clinch up, he will throw a hard elbow in the clinch. Saw him land that on Sam Alvey, and he's done that a few times on the regional scene as well. So yeah, he's not. He uses his height in the clinch pretty much to land those elbows. Alright, so a couple of things that William Knight does that I'm not too fond of is that he'll lean back with his chin in the air on the feet. He'll also turn away from his opponent to avoid strikes, which is where I drew my conclusion that he's, pretty uncomfortable on the feet. Just with those tendencies that he does. Excuse me. Still a little sick. Alright, so grappling tendencies for these two. For William Knight, I don't think his wrestling's very good at all. Yeah. He goes for those outside leg takedowns in the clinch. A lot of his takedowns do come from the clinch. When he does hit the mat, he goes for a lot of, big man submissions like anacondas, arm triangles, kimuras and stuff like that. When he does get in dominant position, he doesn't look for ground and pound unless he's in a very dominant position like mount, or he has the back and he's flattened his opponent out. But yeah, he will throw ground and pound from those, mount or take the back, and he starts hammering away. He uses this really weird technique when he's throwing ground and pound. Like, he just uses his arms. He doesn't really put his body into it. It's really weird. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go watch his Contender Series fight when he flattens the dude out. Yeah, just kind of clubs him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that's about, but it is what it is. But yeah, he uses a lot of brute force to push and throw his opponents away in scrambles and get ups. Like, he uses a lot of his lot of power to get up, a lot of strength. And one of his favorite get ups is when he gets that underhook, and then he pretty much just yanks himself up. But opponents can easily counter that. He hangs on to that underhook for a very long time, and his opponents can take the back from there if they're a little slippery or they duck under it. But yeah, it is what it is. For Jung, he'll go for frame off knees when his opponent's shooting for a double leg, but in general, his takedown defense is generally what gets him in trouble. So how these guys win? For Jung, he's got good power in his straight right hand. For William Knight, he has good solid athlete. He's very physically strong as well. How these guys lose, which is a little bit longer than how these guys win. Right, so for William Knight, I think his game lacks structure. Seems to not know. Seems to just kind of, he doesn't really come in there with a game plan or anything. Seems really uncomfortable on the feet. Don't think he likes to be hit at all. Talked about that before. And also the grappling tendencies that we just discussed. For Dong Jung, he has he has subpar takedown defense. I don't think it's the best. I think William Knight might even get him down, even though I don't think he is very good wrestling himself. But Jung's takedown defense is not all that. Striking defense tendencies that he has. He has a good chin, but he's kind of like the Korean Zombie. He's there to be hit. He's very predictable. It's kind of common with fighters coming out of that area. But yeah, his striking defense needs a little work. So past the victory for these two. So for Dong Jung, I think the straight right's going to be there all day. He leaves himself very open on the feet. Extend your combinations. When you start extending your combinations on William Knight, that's when he gets really uncomfortable. Knees when he's closing distance into the clinch, because he will be clinching up a fair bit, in my opinion. Look for elbows in the clinch, off the clinch break. Just look to really punish him for clinching up, and make him stand at distance, really. For William Knight, leg kicks at distance. Really try and hurt that lead leg of Jung's. Trips in the clinch. Look to clinch often, pretty much, and, get your offense going from there. Alright, so how I see this one going. So, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I've been trying to fade William Knight for quite a while now. I tried to bet against him twice against Menafield. But yeah, that fight wasn't made to be, I guess. Really hope he makes it to the ring here against Jung, because, yeah, I want to fade him real bad. He's very poor technically, relies on his athleticism to bail him out quite often. Also, Jung's much bigger. Knight is a beefed up middleweight, pretty much. Jung couldn't make 185 if he cut his arm off. He should be able to utilize his height in the clinch, which is where William Knight's going to try and get him pretty much constantly. And I think he's going to be able to get dominant position in the clinch, turn him around, get underhooks, turn him around, and stop the takedowns, stop the trip takedowns, because he's got very long legs. He'll always have that post to rely on. His hips will be a lot higher than William Knight, so he won't be able to get that hip upon hip, which he wants for those trip takedowns. I'm not too concerned about William Knight changing levels and going for a double leg, because he hasn't really done that in the past, and it didn't really, when he does go for double legs and single legs, it doesn't impress me very much. But yeah, I believe Knight will be looking for the clinch off, and on the feet, Knight better get those low kicks going early, or he's going to be toast. I think Jung KOs him pretty quickly on the feet at distance. So yeah, he needs to get those leg kicks going if he's going to do anything. Even then, he'll likely get predictable with the leg kicks. He probably won't set them up. He doesn't set them up usually. So, if Jung gets the read on it, he'll be looking for that counter 2 as he's throwing the leg kicks. Could be a knockout like Semmelsberger versus Jason Witt. When Jason Witt was just spamming leg kicks, and then Semmelsberger just counter 2'd him because it was so predictable. I could see something definitely like that happening. I do think, Jung knocks him out, but his tendencies of not checking leg kicks and also his takedown defense kind of give me, kind of make me ease off the brakes a little bit from fading Jung. What's his name? Knight. But yeah, I gotta fade him. I gotta fade him in this one. Alright, so let's have a look at the betting lines. Alright, so Jung is the underdog, which was surprising to me, in some books. I do think he wins this a large chunk of the time. I think 70-30 in favour of in favour of Jung. I don't think very highly of William Knight at all. I think, he should knock him out pretty early. I think Jung as the underdog is a good bet. I'm going to put a few units on that, definitely. I was expecting him to be much cheaper than this. Much more expensive, than this. But yeah, I'll take it if he's the underdog. I wouldn't be surprised if Jung is a solid favourite by the time the fight starts.